Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the story of Ulysses and Cyclops. Now, Cyclops are one-eyed monsters, and the story is after the Trojan War. Each one, whoever came to fight in the war, they were going back home. But since gods were angry with them, they were given a very bad treatment on the way back, and they did not reach their home safely, or they did not reach home happily, because many of them died in the shipwreck, or some of them were killed by their other wives that were in the, that is a false wife in the palace. And when they reached home also, they did not find anything pleasant, because they were so much of troubled and many things have changed, and only those few whose wives and friends and people were still true to them even after the 10 years, because Trojan War went on for 10 years. Even those people had to go to different places before they could reach, that is, they were not able to travel directly to the native place. Due to some reason or other, they were thrown here and there, and one person who had to wander a lot among those people was Ulysses. And he is the person who suffered a lot. And before he could go, like, all the people left Troy, but he was the last to leave Troy, because he stayed back to please Agamemnon, the lord of all the Greeks. And then he started with his 12 ships. When he came also, he came with 12 ships. And now in each ship there were 50 men. But when he came, they were more than double these men who had come. But they, most of them had died in the war, or due to some other reasons they have died. And now they were only 50 in each ship, and they started going towards the northwest to the Thracian coast. And this is the place where the Cimmerians lived, and they are the people who helped the men of Troy. So they went to that place, they plundered them, and they took a lot of slaves and oxen, and there was jars of fragrant wine, and they took, and even these people fought with them badly. And when they came back to the ship, Ulysses found that in each ship they had lost 6 people in this fight with these people. Now when they were going, they had a severe storm which drove the ships to the shores, and third morning they sailed again, and this time they went to the great Philippine land, and this is the place where Cape Melia was looking at the southern sea. And since the currents were confusing them, they went around and round, they were not able to go there. And then on the 10th day they went to the land of the lotus. Lotus is a wondrous fruit, and whoever eats this lotus will not want to go back to his country or see his wife or children. And the people who lived there also were called as lotus eaters, and they were very kind people. So they gave some of the sailors this lotus, and they did not mean any harm. They, because this was the best thing they can give to anyone, they gave this lotus. And whoever ate these lotus, they did not want to sail or travel in the sea. And when wise Ulysses heard about it, he asked the other people to carry them and put them in the ship. And these people were only complaining because they did not want to come back. But then they started traveling, and after a few days, they came to a country where the Cyclops lived. And now they saw from the island itself, it was a very fertile island, and it showed that that place was well bannered, and they were near the beach, and they were waiting for the morning so that they can have a very clear view of the place. And next day they saw the island was full of goats, and there was so much feast, that is cattle there, that they were so happy that they caught them and they had a good feast, and they also drank the wine which they had brought from the Cimmerians. And Ulysses is a person who loves adventure, and so whichever land he goes, he'll come and see how the people are living there and what are there in those places and all that. So he took one ship, and he left the others to stay back, and he chose only 12 men from his group, and they wanted to go inside that country and see how that place is. And they found lots of caves, and each cave a cyclope was living, and all these cyclopes were living separately. They will not talk with each other that much, and they were very rude and savage people, and they ruled their place according to their wish, and they did not care about others. And the one which was very close to the sea, there was a very big cave, and there were so many things around it. and there were a lot of tall oak and pine trees and all that. And since Ulysses had brought 12 of the bravest people along with them, he waited there to see who was living in this one particular cave. And along with them, he had taken a sword and also a big bag of wine. This wine was so sweet smelling and strong, and he brought this wine because he thought in case if he meets any fierce savage, he can give this wine to him and make him friends with him. And they went into that cave and they saw the cave showed the person was a very good shepherd, because there were many sheep and goats which were kept according to divided according to the age, and there were baskets full of cheeses and full milk pails which was arranged in the wall. And the cyclope who was living in that place had gone away with the sheep to graze them. And the companions told Ulysses that we will take whatever we want, all the sheep coat, what is there, and the cheese and all that. We can be happy with that. But Ulysses said, no, 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 that is not the way we should be. We will see who is the person who is residing in this place, and then we'll go. He not knowing what effect this is going to have on them. And in the evening, the cyclope who was living there, he came, and he was a mighty giant. He was about 20 feet high, and he had broad shoulders, and he was carrying pine wood on him, and that was to make fire. And he came and he threw all that in the cave, and he drove the flock into the cave. And then he closed the entrance with a huge rock. Now this rock was so huge that even 20 wagons, that is horses, will not be able to move it. And then he milked all the cows and goats, and half the milk he made into cheese and half he kept for him to have. And then he lit the pine logs, and in that flame he saw Ulysses and his comrades. Immediately he called, who are you? Are you traders or are you pirates? And now only we know that this giant's name is Polyphemus, and in those days old it was not a shame to be called a pirate. A pirate is a person who is a sea thief. And Ulysses came before him and said, no, 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 we are not pirates, we are from Greek. And while we were sailing back from Troy, we came here. We are the subjects of the great king Agamemnon. And he says he is a person who is very famous all over the world. And we beg you to give us good hospitality, because in the name of Zeus, who is a god of gods, he will reward or punish the host and the guest according to how faithful they are to each another. Hearing this, giant says, see, I am not bothered about any gods, because we Cyclops think that we are stronger and better than the gods. And tell me, where have you left your ship? This is what he asked. Now Ulysses thought, if he tells him where his ship is there, maybe he will break the ship, and that will be the last hope for them to travel and go. So very intelligently he says, we don't have any ship, because when we were traveling, the king Poseidon, that is the god of the sea, broke the ship, and we only are the few people who escaped from the ship. And hearing this, Polyphemus said nothing, and immediately, without any ado, he caught two of those men, and he broke them, dashed them on the ground, and he tore their limbs, and he ate them fully, not leaving even a small bit. And along with that, he was also drinking the milk, and this others were seeing dreadfully, because they never thought this will happen, and they were praying to their god Zeus to save them. And after having these two men, the giant just fell down and started sleeping. And Ulysses was thinking what he should do, whether he should kill the monster so that they can escape. And he knew very well that his sword was a very strong one, which can definitely pierce the giant's heart. But since he was a very intelligent man, he knew that killing that giant alone will not help the comrades to escape from there, because the giant had closed the cave with a rock, and that rock will not be they cannot move the rock, and therefore they will have to die inside. So patiently they waited till the morning, and in the morning the monster woke, and he milked his flocks, and again he took two of the men and he ate them for his meal, and then he went to the pastures. But before going, he closed the mouth of the cave with the lock, and he went. Now Ulysses was thinking what he have to do, and he did not know what to do. But then he came up with an idea. He took one big olive tree and that wood, and he made them to polish it. Now this olive tree, the Polymbus was having it so that he can kindle the smoke. And now they sharpened this olive branch, and they hardened it with fire, and they kept it safely. They hid it from the giant. And then the giant came back in the evening, and again he had two of them as his meal. And then he started his usual work. Now Ulysses came forward and he handed that wineskin to the Cyclope, and he said, Cyclope, drink this and see. This is one of the best wines we can ever get. Now when you eat this, you will know how we have made it, and at least that will stop you from behaving so cruelty to the strangers who have come to you. Now Cyclops drinks wine, and he's so very happy. He says, this is really very tasty, and I will definitely give you a very nice gift for giving this, because even we make wine, but it is not like that. It is as though gods have made this wine. And then he asked for another cup and another cup. He drank 3 cups, not knowing what that wine will have effect on him. And after he had the Cyclope had asked for his name. So he says, Cyclope, my name is No Man, and since now you know my name, please tell me what gift you're going to give me. And the Cyclops says, my gift will be that I will eat you last. That is, after eating all your friends, I will eat you last. And then he fell down and he started sleeping. Now Ulysses asked his comrades to come near him, and they had that olive wood ready, and which was very sharp and also very strong, and this they thrust into his one eye. And now these Cyclops are monsters which have only one eye on their forehead, and this Ulysses did with great force that this wood, actually they had burnt it also before thrusting it, that it hissed as though a red hot iron was sinked into the water. And the giant leapt and it tore away that wood and cried loudly, that all the other Cyclops which are living in the other mountains all came asking, what happened, why are you shouting, what happened, Polymus, is anyone robbing your sheep, or anything has happened to you? And giant said, no man slaves me by craft. That is, here by no man he meant Ulysses, and he says Ulysses has hurt me. Now when they hurt no man, then they say, why, when no man has done anything to you, why are you doing like this? Maybe it is some sickness which God Zeus has sent to you. So pray to our father Poseidon so that he will help you. And they all went away. And Ulysses was glad that he had that idea to tell him that his name was No Man. Now Cyclops, what he did is, he rolled away to the great stone from the door of the cave. And he sat in the middle, stretching out his hands so that no one can escape him from the cave. And now Ulysses thought what he should do, and how he can save himself and his comrades. Then he got an idea, and he thanked God Zeus for giving him that idea. Now he saw there were so many rams, they were all giant size, with the sheep also there. And therefore he chose certain rams which are very huge, and he tied his comrades under the bellies of the beast, and he tied them using the twigs which the giant made his bed. And then for the last one, he took the biggest ram, and to that he clung, grasping the fleece with both his hands. And they all waited till the morning. And when morning came, the rams all rushed for their pasture. But the giant sat in the door, and it felt its back, so that it was very making sure that it was only the sheep which were leaving, rams which were leaving the caves. And finally the last great ram came. Under that only Ulysses was hanging on to its belly. And when Cyclops touched it, he said, you are the leader of the flock, always you will be the first one to go and the first one to return, but now you are going last. Why are you sad that I have hurt my leg and I have lost my sight? And he says, no man, that is what his name has destroyed. And he gave me wine, and he has done something, but he has not escaped. He will be only inside. And I know I'm going to dash out his brains upon the ground and take my revenge on this No Man. And so speaking, he left out that last ram also outside. And they all, when they came out of the reach of the giant, Ulysses loosened his hold on the ram, and also he unbound his comrades, and they all went very fast to the ship. Not only did they go, they also took all Cyclops' fat sheep, and they were glad that they were able to get into the ship, and they did not make any noise, or they did not cry for the friends who had they saw being eaten up by the giant, because they knew that if they make any noise, the giant will hear that noise and it will come and catch them. So slowly they came and then climbed into the ship, and they sat on the benches, and they started using the oars, and they went far away, and they went about 100 yards away, so that if they make any voice, if they can speak, then the cyclops can hear him. But at the same time they were 100 yards away, so Ulysses stood on top of the ship and he said, see, the person who took your eyes is not a coward, and you, this is very bad, because guests came to your place and you ate them, and may gods make you to suffer for what you have done. And hearing this, the cyclope took a mighty rock and threw in the direction from where he heard the voice, and that rock just fell in front of the ship, and a great wave came and brought the ship back to the shore. But Ulysses caught hold of a long pole with both the hands and pushed the ship from the land, and asked his comrades to use the oars so that they can go far away more. And he knew very well that it is not good to speak now, because the giant was able to throw that rock for 100 yards away. And now this time they went twice the distance, and this time his friends told him not to say anything, because that will make the giant more angry. And already the first rock made the ship to come back, and maybe the next rock can even crush the ship up. But Ulysses was not in a mood to listen to them. He said, no, I will speak. And he got up and he said, dear Cyclope, if anyone asks you who blinded you, you can tell him that it was warrior Ulysses who blinded you, and he is a son of Latrus, and he is living in Ithaca. And hearing this, the Cyclops said, oh yes, I have an old oracle which was told to me long ago in this land by one Telemus, who is a prophet, and he is a person who lived even to old age here, and he told me that I will lose my eyesight because of one person, Ulysses, and I thought I will be meeting a very great man and a strong man who can make me to lose my eyesight with his force, but now you are a weakling and you have cheated me with wine. But whatever happens, now I am telling you, come, I will be a good host, and maybe I will task Poseidon to send you all home very safely, because Poseidon is my sir, that is my father, and he will heal me of all my grievous wound. But Ulysses said, see, I know what is it, and all the place I want you to go is to the place of dead, where you can pass all your healing there, and even from Poseidon's self. And then Cyclops lifted up his hands to Poseidon and prayed, dear Poseidon, if you are my father, may this Ulysses never reach his home. And if it is fate that he should reach his home, may he come alone, and he should lose all his comrades, and he should be seeing only a trouble at his home, and he should never be happy. Saying this, he threw another mighty rock, and that actually came near the ship and fell. And Ulysses and comrades just escaped and came to the land of the wild goats, where they found their other friends, and who have been waiting for such a long time in fear that something happened to them. And after coming here, Ulysses divided to all the men all the ship that they had taken from Cyclope, and from his share he took the great ram which had carried him out of the cave, and he gave it as a sacrifice to god Zeus. And that day they had a very good feast on the flesh of the sheep and the sweet wine. And when night came, they lay down on the shore and slept. And here ends the story. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends. And if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.